besides just degrees, there's actually more accurate ways of measuring angles. So instead of just using the decimal of a degree, we can also write the remaining parts as minutes or even seconds if we need to get really, really accurate with our measurement of our angle. So it's kind of like the idea of instead of just measuring feet, 3.75 feet, we write it as 3 feet 9 inches. And if we go more accurate, we go to 16ths of an inch or 30seconds of an inch, and so forth. So it's kind of that same idea, like to have something more accurate than just this, longer feet unit. You can break it down to an inch or a fraction of an inch. So the conversion that we use is that 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes. Okay, so now this is not to scale, what I'm going to draw right now. Make that a little straighter. So if let's say this is a degree, and again, it's not to scale, that's probably more like 25 degrees or something. What that means is there's 60 minutes within that 1 degree. And then within each one of those teeny little minutes, there's 60 seconds. So, and if you look at the symbols, so this is for minutes and this is for seconds. It's a little maybe confusing at first because the minute symbol looks like feet and the second symbol looks like inches, but we would know that we're measuring an angle. So then instead of feet and inches, we're talking about minutes and seconds. Okay, so first of all, let's go to change this to a decimal. So maybe I have, like on a blueprint, 75 degrees, 15 minutes. But to make it easier to plug it into my calculator to do calculations, I want to change this to a decimal. Okay, so since 1 degree is 60 minutes, since 1 degree is 60 minutes, we could even kind of do a little converting here. Think of this like 15 minutes over 1 times 60 minutes on the bottom, 1 degree on top. We're converting that minutes into degrees. So we're dividing by 60. Okay, so think of it like we have a nice number of minutes. We want to break it down to a decimal. Okay, so we've got a whole number and we want to break it down to a decimal. So we're going to be dividing by 60. So, which this is 0.25. So my answer would be 75.25 degrees. Now, if we kind of think about this, let's think about the most common minutes that we might see. Like this one, 15 minutes is 0.25 degrees, it's a quarter of a degree. Just like time. Think of it as like time. 15 minutes is a quarter of an hour. Here's another common one. 30 minutes is half of a degree. It's like 30 minutes, half an hour. And then 45 minutes is 3/4 of an hour, so 3/4 of a degree. So think of like your degrees as your hours. Minutes is like your minutes. Okay, so if you kind of use these as a base of what you know, then that could be helpful. And if you want to jot those on your formula sheet, I'm fine with that. Okay, so now how about the next one? 130 degrees, 50 minutes. So again, we're dividing by 60. So this is repeating, 8333. So I have 130 points, run to the nearest hundredth would be 83 degrees. Okay, now in our calculator, I'm going to jump to, on your notes sheet, I'm going to jump to that bottom left corner. Right here, DMS to DDD. DMS to DDD. So what that means, that DMS stands for degree, minute, second. Okay, so on your calculator, if you have the TI-30XS Multiview, the one recommended for the class, it's in the angle button. So you have to hit the second and then PRB. Okay, so if you want to follow along with me right now, I'll kind of talk through how to enter, and we'll do that last one. It was 130 degrees, 50 minutes. So I'm going to enter my degree part, 130, second PRB, and then I'm going to hit enter because right away the degree symbol is highlighted. That's the first option. And then I'm going to hit 50, second PRB, and then I'm going to arrow down to the minute symbol. And then when you hit enter, it'll change it to the decimal. If you have the TI-30X2S, I know a lot of you have that one, the dark blue one. It is actually, the button looks like the symbols, degree, minute, second. So very similarly, so you'll do 130, you just hit that button. The degree button is underlined. 50, hit the degree, minute, second button again, arrow over to minutes, hit enter, it'll change it to a decimal. Okay, now going the other way. So 24.5 degrees if I want to write this to the nearest minute. So here's one where we just said that kind of from that common list, 30 minutes is half a degree or 0.5 degrees. So this actually, if we just kind of think about it, this would be 24 degrees. So changing it instead of to the decimal, that 0.5 degrees, half of a degree is 30 minutes. Okay, how I calculate that though, I take 0.5, instead of divided by 60, I'm going to multiply by 60. So it's like I have a decimal and I want to get it up to a nice number or a whole number. So I'm going to multiply by 60 to bring it up to a nice number. So 0.5 times 60, that gets me 30. Okay, or this one, let's do this one's, can't just kind of look at it and know. 0.36 times 60. So 0.36 times 60 is 21.6. Okay, now this says convert to the nearest minute. So I have a full 42 degrees. Notice we didn't really mess with that. We're just changing the decimal part. You know, just like when we have inches and we want to change it to a fraction. Okay, just take the decimal part, 0.36 times 60 to the nearest minute. This is closer to 22 minutes. Okay, so this would be my answer. Now, if I did want to go further to seconds, if I was asked to change it to the nearest second, I'd have 42 degrees, 21 minutes, and then I would take that 0.6 minutes left over times 60, and I'd get 36 seconds. So DMS, degrees, minutes, seconds. So in your calculator, let's do this one in the calculator. So start off by entering the 42.36. Doesn't matter which calculator you have, start off like that. Okay, so it'll go to decimal degrees to degree, minute, second. Okay, enter decimal. If it's this calculator, hit second PRB. And then keep arrowing down. It's the sixth option. And it looks like change to DMS. So once you hit enter, then you hit enter again, it'll change it to, and you would see that your calculator will always just go to the whole degree, minute, second. So it'll say 42 degrees, 21 minutes, 36 seconds. If you have the TI-30X2S, the dark blue one, then you hit the degree, minute, second button again, and then you don't see it, but you have to keep arrowing over until you see the change to DMS button. So that little arrow means change to degree, minute, second. Change from a decimal to degree, minute, second. And again, it should give you the 42 degrees, 21 minutes, 36 seconds.